How are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello! Merry Christmas Eve for my friends who celebrate Christmas, and for my friends who do not. I hope whatever holiday you're celebrating is absolutely fantastic this year. Today's video is really special, and I'm so excited about it because it is a collab with my friend Tiffanyferg here on YouTube. Probably heard of Tiffany before, but if you haven't, you're missing out. Tiffany makes this, she just makes amazing content. She basically is like who I wish I was. She's very organized, she's very well informed, she does a ton of research on her videos, and she has a series called Internet Analysis that I love. I have not missed an internet analysis in a very long time. I truly love her videos. I think she is so well informed, so put together, also like funny. Like she somehow makes these like really complex, serious topics very funny. And I just think she does an amazing job at what she does here on YouTube. She's a very unique channel in what she does, in the sense that she does commentary on just like everything and always has a really well-informed, balanced opinion that looks at multiple sides, and I think that's just fantastic. Also, she's been on this kind of like journey in paying off her student loans and in paying off credit card debt and in kind of talking about her journey in budgeting and all of these things, and I find her videos on budgeting so interesting. I think she has some really good tips, and just like her sharing her life experience definitely has helped me with my finances and what I should be doing. I'm gonna include a clip right here of one of Tiffany's videos so you guys can get like a vibe of who she is, and then when you come back, we'll talk about today's topic.
So as an example of judging a vlogger's life and relationships, let's discuss Haley Pham. First of all, Haley is young. I think she's about 18, and I'm not here to shit on a young creator, but she has been under fire recently for a few reasons. Basically, she made a storytime video that I thought really embodies this "you're not relatable anymore" kind of phenomenon. She was talking about how she went on an anniversary trip with her boyfriend to Greece. She ended up paying thousands of dollars extra to rebook things because she made mistakes booking like her entire trip. And then she told people that they shouldn't travel there because it's politically and economically unstable. And basically that Santorini didn't meet her expectations based on what she had seen on Instagram. And then there was this whole kind of purity rant and her saying that she didn't deserve to have an infection. I don't know. It was a mess. Yikes.
So that is Tiffany. Please go check her out. Please go subscribe to her. She is an amazing content creator, and I'm just so excited that I get to do this with her. Today's candle of the day is Frosted Coconut Snowball. It smells really good. You can see I've been burning this for a while because I was like getting ready and like researching and doing things, and it makes the whole room smell awesome. I don't normally like coconut scents, but I feel like this one is really nice, like a fresh scent. Anyway, my candle review time is over. Today's video, Tiffany and I decided we were going to talk about flex culture. So I have some thoughts about this. I recently put out a video titled Let's Talk About the Normalization of Luxury Fashion, or something along those lines. And that video did really well. You guys seem to actually be super interested in that topic. And in that video, I definitely touched on the idea of flex culture. You know, that was kind of part of it, because obviously with the normalization of luxury fashion, it's kind of gone hand in hand with this increase in flexing, if you will. So what is flexing? Well, I looked it up. According to Urban Dictionary, first of all, according to Webster, flexing is just like moving a muscle. So that's not the kind of flexing we're talking about. The flexing that we're talking about is showing off your valuables in a non-humble way. I think where that definition gets kind of interesting is when we start talking about like the non-humble aspect of it. So I think there's a lot of ways that you could perceive that, because is posting a picture of you at like Nobu considered not being humble? Is posting a picture of a new designer bag you bought that you were like treat yourself, had a treat yourself moment, is that you not being humble? Where do we draw the line between humbleness? Because I would argue everyday people buying everyday things and maybe posting them on the internet is not necessarily not being humble. There's definitely a line between just basic average consumerism and maybe doing what humankind really does, which is want other people to know what we're doing and know that our lives are good. And that's kind of something that social media has done to our society, is we have this kind of need to let people know that we're doing well. And I actually did a paper on this a while back about how social media has changed the way that we sort of think about things. And I'll link the articles and stuff that I found about it because it's fascinating what social media has done to us. But that's not really the point. Because our society has evolved with technology, we now have a lot more of the we need to show off what we have type of thing. And I think there's a difference between doing that and flexing, which is like every post is a new purchase. You're constantly, you know, showing off your Gucci. You're constantly, like the example they gave in Urban Dictionary was like, it's like if somebody drops their wallet on the ground and they go,
man, my 2 bands fell out of that.
Like that's flexing. Like if you drop your wallet and you're like, oh my God, no, my $5,000, is it gonna be okay in there? Or if you're just like casually having a conversation and you're like, by the way, did you know this bag I'm carrying?
$4,000.
Like that type of thing. I think flexing is more when you put so much worth in material possessions that money and wealth and accumulating wealth sort of become this like thing that you feel you have to do. You have to be constantly showing those things off. I think a perfect example of like a flexer is Rice Gum. And he's not subtle. He's not. He really constantly talks about how much money he has. He constantly is wearing these like crazy expensive shirts. iDubbbz content cop, as problematic as iDubbbz is as a person, actually perfectly describes Rice Gum's flexing and how he like takes so much pride in having like a limited edition Supreme hoodie before anybody else. And he wants to like go show off to the people that are waiting in line to get it that like he already has it. Like made it rain on like a homeless man just because he could. I think that's pretty much when I'm talking about flex culture, like those are the types of people that I'm talking about. But I definitely think in a day-to-day situation, we all kind of participate in flex culture, especially if you have a social media that you do post things like that on. I think we do have this kind of, you know, instinct to want to let people know that we're doing okay. So I do think there's a little bit of a difference in flex culture and everything, but I think it's something that we all participate in, whether in small ways or large ways. And I think that's something kind of important to talk about. I think the real reason that flex culture has become so noticeable is because of social media. There's an assumption that's usually made about like millennials and Gen Z people that we are just constantly addicted to our phones and we live in a world where our currency is likes and hearts and favorites. That's kind of how we exist. If we didn't post it, didn't even happen as kind of like a meme. And while I kind of resent the idea that a whole entire group of people exist in that type of environment, I definitely think there is some truth to that, especially if you're the type of person that follows social media influencers. I have never met a single person who isn't following at least one Instagram model on Instagram. Like they're everywhere, okay? Follows like at least one random person that just is living this crazy, insane life that you could never imagine living. And I think that's almost like why we follow them. Like I know I follow this one girl who all she does is travel. I'm like, do you have a house? Do you pay rent anywhere? Because she's constantly, one week she's in Bali, the next week she's in Japan, like the next week she's in Italy eating pasta while still being a size 00. And I'm like, what is going on? But that's the desired effect that she wants. The desired effect that she wants by posting those photos is so people like me look at it and we think, how does she get that? Like, and it's a jealousy type of thing. You almost want people to be jealous of you. I think there is this weird, especially because of social media, there's become this weird competition of whose life is better, who's doing better, who's doing the most. I know that happens a lot with like kids I went to high school with. We all low-key like lurk on each other and we're like, who's doing what? Like I know one of the guys I went to high school with is an Instagram model now. Did I think he was gonna be an Instagram model in high school? No, he looks drastically different and now all he does is like walk around the streets of New York City with a Frappuccino with like a 12-pack. And it's insane. Like it's so interesting how social media has kind of made us feel like we're in this weird competition of life. I do think that the concept of flexing, whether it had the name flexing or not, because I know that's kind of a newer term, I think it's been around since humans were able to walk the earth. You know, in certain cultures, hundreds and thousands of years ago, being like fat and overweight, that was a flex because that meant that you had food at home and like not everybody had that. I know during the Great Depression, that was like a flex. If you were like overweight or you had fat on you, that was a hardcore flex because like that meant that you were eating well, that your family had money to buy food. I know in like the Renaissance period, women spent so much time and money trying to source the best fabrics so they could look their best in their dresses. This is a thing through women in like history. If you study fashion at all, women have always wanted the best, most luxury designs. They've always wanted things that will make them look and appear to be richer and of a higher social class. And even in like the 50s, when everyone was smoking cigarettes, it was like a status symbol to have certain types of cigarettes. Like cigarettes were a flex because if you had a certain brand, that meant you could afford to buy the certain brand. So whether people in different generations want to admit it or not, they've been flexing for a long time. Humans have been flexing since the beginning of time. So why does it seem like such a big thing now? Why does it seem so much worse now? Number one, everything seems worse when it's happening, which is like the first thing. Like in 20 years, we'll be telling our kids that like they need to stop flexing so much, not acknowledging what we did when we were young, you know? I do think that we are in a very interesting time where the evolution of the internet is happening, and the evolution of social media is happening. We are literally at the beginning of the wave of technology, internet, social media, all of these crazy things that are happening. We're just the start of that. Brands and all these other people are just now figuring out the best ways to market their products using social media, using influencers. And so I think a lot of what we see from social media influencers that is flexing is actually really strategic and smart brand marketing. I don't think it's necessarily flexing at all. I think we've convinced everyone that it's flexing, but I think brands know exactly what they're doing by having these influencers flex on us because they know what flexing does. They know it makes you jealous. It makes you want to live the life that that person's living. They're aware that you desire to be somewhat like these very cool, attractive, rich people you see on Instagram. So maybe the next time you're saving up for a big purchase, you'll save up to buy that Supreme hoodie that everybody was raging about and it sold out in 5 seconds. Brands are absolutely using social media to create this type of FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. And I think that's why flex culture just seems so amplified now. It seems like it's such a big problem. It seems like it's something so much insane. It seems like we're out of control with our spending, and in a way we are because flex culture has absolutely made average people like me, like maybe you if you're watching this and relate to this, it's made you go out and buy things and buy more things to try to achieve the lifestyle that the other people that you're looking at lead. However, I do think there is somewhat of a solution happening right now. Along with the rise of flex culture and how it's kind of been peaking right now, we are also now starting to see the rise of minimalism. I call it the Marie Kondo effect. People are getting incredibly minimalist. It is becoming more trendy now, I think, to be minimalist and to be more consumeristic. I think that is definitely a trend that is happening. I know for a fact it's happening in the beauty sphere, and I actually did a video kind of talking about that earlier in Glowmas. If you want to go check it out, I'll definitely link that one down below. I think we are seeing a shift into more minimalism. I think we are seeing a shift into anti-consumerism because I think a lot more people, as it's almost like social media is the problem, but it's also the solution because social media is able to give people information about why supporting certain companies is bad, about where these things that we're buying are really coming from. And in a way, it's now becoming a little bit more trendy, I think, to be more minimalist, to be more anti-consumerist. And also, I think there's a huge factor at play here, and that's the environment. The environment is not doing well. I don't know if you know that or not, and people know that. People are catching on to the fact all of this rampant consumerism and all of this consumerism just for the sake to flex, right? I think people are starting to catch on that it's not cool to own 5,000 pairs of shoes you never wear. It's not cool to have massive drawers of makeup that you're never using because at the end of the day, that's just accumulating more waste for our planet, which is dying. I think we're seeing a really big wave and it's very trendy right now to be, you know, environmentally conscious. I think that's definitely a thing that's happening. So while I do think, you know, this sort of like flexing on the haters is like definitely still a thing, and it's always going to be a thing because I think it's human nature. I think if you trace it back, we've always been people who like to just make others feel like they're not as good as us. That's like always been a thing. Whether it's in small ways or large ways, that's absolutely always been a thing. We always low-key want people to be jealous of us. However, I do see a counterbalance, and I hope one day we can find this sort of like balance between we're always going to be a little jealous of other other people. We're always gonna be jealous of what other people don't have, but also finding this balance where it doesn't affect us to the point where we feel we have to go out and buy those things too. Or it doesn't affect us so much where we like hate our own lives because like this person is living this like perfect life, to the point where it doesn't make a person cool or what give a person validation simply because they own a Gucci bag that they were able to afford. Does that make sense? I think it's a really interesting topic, and I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have to say on this subject. I know in my initial video I did about luxury fashion, you guys had a lot of opinions, and I think it's really awesome that this is like such a good conversation to have. Thank you so much to Tiffany for doing this collab with me. I really had so much fun learning about this topic and talking about it, and I'm sure her video is gonna be full of amazing information, amazing editing. She's fantastic. Please go check her out. I love her channel so much. Like, I truly don't think you'll regret it if you go check her out. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Let me know down below what you guys think about this topic. I love you guys so much. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right. You can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy in like a super positive way. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on locally, federally, just like what's happening in your country, using your voice in a positive way, because the world absolutely needs more of that. I love you guys so much. Stop getting flexed on. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.